This is Click from the BBC in London. I'm Gareth Mitchell, and so perhaps part of the solution might be better tracking, as we were discussing there. Then artists might be able to trace where their music ends up. So wouldn't it be great to have a sonic search engine? So instead of typing a search term in and then seeing a whole load of returns coming back in text, you could instead, for instance, play a sound or a tune, and then it would find you sounds that either match or resemble it. It would be very useful if you work in the film industry, perhaps, or if you manage audio archives, or even if you're just a music fan seeking out particular genres or types of tune that you're into. Well, a Californian firm called Imagine Research has been working on a technology called Media Mind. Founder and CEO Jay LeBoeuf has been telling me more.
There's so many things that make a sound what it is. And in order for a computer to do it, the computer needs to look at an enormous amount of statistics that are derived from the actual audio file. And machine learning, which is a step that we use in the process, can actually look at the numbers derived from an audio file and try to guess what it's listening to. But you don't always know what the machine learning is going to do. Let's say we provide our system with a dozen examples of an electric guitar. If those dozen examples are all in the key of E, then it might just be that the machine learning algorithms learn that anything that's in the key of E must be an electric guitar. So part of the challenge of doing this with computers is to have a massive collection of annotated training data that describes what all these sounds are.
So ideally, what you would want is some kind of algorithm. So you can say, look, I want an electric guitar, and this algorithm will mine a whole load of audio information and pull out anything that contains an electric guitar.
There's two goals that we're going for. The first is that example where we're indexing massive media archives and looking at not only what the file is, but what it contains and at what point different sound objects occur. The second instance is to actually be able to search for sounds by sound similarity, to be able to give a computer a drum loop, for example, and say, I'm looking for a bass loop that grooves with this drum loop. Now, musicians can do that very, very well, but to have a computer that understands what you mean by what instrument you're talking about and what is rhythmically similar, it's an extraordinarily difficult challenge.
And you're working with the Internet Archive, aren't you? So tell us what that is and how you're involved with it.
So the Internet Archive is a fantastic organization that has petabytes of content, everything from historic speech, audio, and text recordings to user-submitted audio and video archives. And one of the things that we're working on with the Internet Archive is indexing their 1 million track eTree live music archive, recordings that have been kind of bootlegged from various concerts and shows and uploaded to the Internet Archive. But a lot of these bands are really not name artists, so there's no good way of finding that material. So what we're doing with the Internet Archive is indexing this content and allowing people to say, wow, I really love this particular Grateful Dead track. Hey, find me other bands and other tracks in the Internet Archive collection that might sound like this.
Are you working with Hollywood, for instance? Maybe you've got people doing sound designs for big Hollywood movies who'd find this useful?
We've been working with Lucasfilm. What the Lucasfilm folks are using it for is they've actually indexed their entire collection of sound effects. Their sound editors right now use it to power a similarity search, so that way you can drag in an example of an explosion and it'll search their entire library of sounds and return everything that sounds like an explosion, whether it's a blast or a gunshot or a trash can falling on the floor.
Wow, that's a really heavy trash can. Now, Bill, what do we think of this? It seems pretty cool stuff.
It is. I spend a lot of time at the moment thinking about digital archives and how we make use of all the old material that's slowly becoming available as digital files. And of course, indexing videos, indexing audio is incredibly difficult. So any tool that makes that easier is a good thing. And I think the attempt to actually do similarity and to look at things other than, if you like, just the plain sound is what sets this apart for me.